Personally, torture, yes, at least two. I did not remember other. And for these two, I remember the details. If you would like to hear the detail, I can do that. But for others, I do not remember at this time.
So it's possible that during those 4 years you tortured more than 2 people, but you don't remember. Is that your testimony?
Yes, it's true.
And this morning, Juge Lavergne asked you what I thought was a clear question. Did you yourself participate in the execution of anyone? We did not, or at least during the translation, we did not get an answer to that question. So let me ask you quite very simply. During those 4 years at M13, did you personally kill anyone for any reason?
I would like to conclude to make a conclusion. Personally, I never kill anyone, including M13 and S21. But when you are talking about orders, all the execution was under my order. At S21, I agreed, and sometime I made an order for execution.
Do you remember that you were, while at M13, you were at all times carrying a weapon, is that correct?
Yes, I carry the gun. I change all types, almost all types of guns. I have Smith Edison revolver, and then later I have a Chinese pistol, sometimes the Soviet Union pistol, but rarely that I carry along everywhere. So I bear a small pistol, but I keep in my trouser. I went to the villages or communes to visit a house of my staff. I never carry a gun with me there. I did not show my gun to anyone. No one had seen that gun. Yes, I agree that I used to bear a gun from the beginning of M13.
And is it at M13 that you became convinced that you had to recruit young people to do this type of work, interrogation, torture, detention, smashing, that young people were better at it because they were a blank slate that you could imprint orders on? Is that at M13 that you came to this conclusion?
In this, it's not a new idea of the revolution. It was an idea of the world communist revolution. In China, it has a story. It has a red lamb story. It's the poor people, the son of the poor family get to learn very fast. And I take that experience to use. It is true. I take those children so that they can support me. So my class was not pleased by the party I was in the intellectual class, so I need to select those poor family children to raise and educated them to support so that in the future the party see me that I select only the right people from the right class. So it is very true from me, from my position. I need to train, I trust in the poor class of the person so that they can support me in the work.
But again, they did not make good killers because of their class. They made good killers because they were young and you could impress upon them what needed to be done. Correct?
If you are talking about that, it is clear they have a good class and we order them to commit a crime, more or less the seriousness of the crime. It's fall on me from one step to another. I do not refuse, I accept that.
So the answer is yes.
Yes, it is true.
No further question. The President, next I would like to give the floor to the civil party lawyers to pose some questions, but we should start from Group 1 first. Please tell your name to the parties and the public.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honors. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Alain Werner and I'm representing 38 civil parties in Group 1. And I have just a few questions for you, sir. The first question would be, what does M13 stand for? And why was it referred by a code name? Was it because it was referred by the code name, or were there any other reason?
The accused, excuse me, I think the mic was not properly activated. That's why I could not hear the full message of your question. Could you please repeat?
Of course. Of course. The question was, what does M13 stand for? And why was it referred by a code name? Was it because it was a center in the special zone, or were there any other reasons why it was referred by a code name? M or Mo stands for office or Munti in Khmer. And this name was given to me by Brother Won. They gave me 3 digits office, but except this office, because the other office was called Office 305. The Office of Propaganda was called Office 306, chaired by G. Kum An. Office 307 was the economic office chaired by former engineer called Siang Prasad. And Office 309 was the office of the messengers. I don't know why I was the only member of the party who chaired this office, and it was distant from the other location, and it was named M13 instead of the 3 digits like the other offices, and I did not know, and I don't know why we were given that the office was given such a name. And during your time as chairman in charge of M13, did anyone from the top leadership of the Khmer Rouge come to M13 to visit you?
The accused, people who dare enter M13 more frequently was Chai Kum Hor. Grandfather Hut Hein, alias Pal from Sector 32, visited the premises once. Ruh Cheto, alias Chiet, former diplomat, the chairperson of Office 305 went there once. Comrade Som, his name, my Sapon, also went to visit me. I think there were no other senior leaders visiting the location.
Now, I have one question about the system of reporting, and answering the co-prosecutor, Mr. Robert Petit, you explain in quite a lot of details the system of reporting concerning the information on detainees, the confessions. You explain that you went to see Brother Sier and about 10 times Tamok. Now, when Juge Lavergne, yesterday and today, asked you questions, there were other concrete examples of reporting to the upper echelon. For example, you said that you went to report when the flooding occurred. You went to report to please the top leadership, sometimes before smashing detainees. You said also that you went to report about question of when there were problems with the staff and discipline among the staff at M13. So concerning these three specific reports, to whom did you report?
The accused. We reported to Tamok very little. I met Tamok only about 4 times for the rest of my life, the rest of my career at my work during the regime. So as I told Mr. Robert Petit this morning, I met him the most, 10 times the most. But I met him very rarely. And I reported to Chu Chet, alias C, the chairman of Southwest Zone, or I reported to Grandfather Hut Hein, alias Pal, the chairperson of Sector 32. For the special zone, I would report to Bon Wade. Then I reported to teacher Son Sen. Except the internal party matters, including personal matters or a matter relating to staff. For example, whether the staff did not work properly, then I would report once every fortnight concerning the meeting of cell criticism. So this was the task of the party, and the task of the police was separated because I needed to report to the chief of the secretary.
Now, answering questions from Juge Lavergne, you explained, I think it was yesterday, that poor people coming from the enemy zone and captured in the liberated zone were brought to M13. And then today, you explain, again answering Juge Lavergne, that villagers living near the enemy zones were sent to M13. Now, because it was not completely clear in your answer, that's what I understood, but I just want to clarify. Is it correct that these two categories of people, these poor people you were talking about yesterday, and these villagers you were talking about today, did not commit any crimes? They were not spies, for example, at the time they came to M13. Is that correct?
The accused, the poor people from Lono areas to the liberated zone. So whenever the military arrested them and sent to M13, they were already regarded as enemies to be smashed because they were spotted in that location made, with the purpose to spy whether they wanted the military to attack the zone. That's why they had to be smashed. Regarding the poor people in the buffer zone, in the morning the enemies entered, at night the revolution entered. Or the revolution only took control of that zone for temporarily, without knowing when it would be recaptured by the enemy. So there was a location which was far apart from these enemy zones called Sampon village, because people in the village did not fight the enemies, but they were talking to coordinate the enemy. So that's why these people were brought into the M13, and only they stayed at M13 for temporarily before they were sent to Battambang. And they were poor people. I still was shocked to recall another event, important event which happened at Piem village, Om Lang commune. That person was not a poor person, but he was from a rich family. There were 50 people who were arrested at that village altogether. So in conclusion, there were poor people from the outskirts of the liberated zone and from the villages which were close to the liberated zones, and from that village I mentioned earlier.
And well, about this second category of people, were confessions taken from these people, as far as you can remember?
The accused. These people were left with me to be interrogate him, because Pon was very skillful in interrogating detainees.
And again, about this second category of people, were they tortured?
The people who were not to be killed or smashed would not be tortured. People who were relocated to other locations would not be tortured.
Now, you said, answering Juge Lavergne, that you monitored closely torture sessions. Now, if you can remember, how many times were you present at M13 when detainees were tortured by your interrogators?
the accused to watch the event was not necessary that I had to be there to witness the situation, but when the interrogation completed and the interrogators would come and report to me the progress of such interrogation, including Comrade Pon, for example, who less often met me. I would ask him some question concerning the progress, but he did not meet me very often.
Now, are you aware of, during the time you were in charge of M13, are you aware of any detainee being buried alive?
I did not order anyone to bury a detainee alive, so no one challenged my order, because I never ordered to do so, so people could not do things differently. They would be in big trouble if they did so.
And then answering Judge Laverne, I think it was this morning, or maybe yesterday, you said that women were giving a bath in the river in the cold wind, and then you said, but you stopped the experiment because it did not achieve the result. What did you mean when you said it did not achieve the result?
The accused, I tried to avoid beating that person, so I tried to bath the person in the river and then put that person exposed to the cool breeze or wind, whether it would be beneficial, whether the person could finally testify or confess. But the confession was still the same, although torture was inflicted. So I did not know whether there was some kind of problem in the confession. I mean, if the person hit the confession, but the detainee was a woman. When she got soaked with water, you could feel that you could see her physical condition. So I was afraid that we could not hold our emotion, you know, like when we witness such things. That's why we stopped.
Now, and Your Honor, I just have literally a few questions. Judge Laverne asked you in details about the trenches and the pits. I have just one question about that. As far as you know, as far as you can remember, at M13, was anyone ever tortured inside a pit?
The accused, so far as I remember, no one was tortured in the pits. But I believe that people who came late to that location might misunderstood, because the pit that we dug at the other side of the river next to the place where we buried the dead people, I erected 2 poles for for my hammock. People would misunderstood that that location was used for buried or torturing people, but it was meant for me to take a rest in the hammock during the daytime. I mean during the daybreak.
Finally, I have 3 questions on M13B, and answering questions from Juge Lavergne, you said people were sent there for re-education. What did you mean when you used the word re-education?
The accused the word re-education means they were left at that location. At night, some people could stay in the houses, but many stayed at the detention facility. It was a shed about 2.5 meter wide and 10 meter long, and the timber, the wooden timber was used to insulate the house. So people who were afraid, people who we believe that could escape, then were put inside the house, or the shed. But people who were people whom we seen that could not escape, then were let out to stay outside of the shed. And then for a while, the chief of the sector made a decision to release those people. So with that order, we then released them. So we make these people grow cassava, but then only temporarily. So the order was made from the sector chief or chairperson. Then if we receive such order to release them, then we release them. So when people were sent from the decision of the upper echelon to 13A and then to 13B, and then after we had the decision to release them, then we had to release.
So according to you, it was not a forced labor camp, right? The accused, I think it can be true that people were forced to work, because we set some strict schedule for working, because the people were asked or were made to do the grow something, but the yield of the products would not be for 13, but for them, but for 13. Your Honor, I have one single more question. Can I ask my question?
The President, you sure can make the last question.
Thank you, Mr. President. As far as you know, sir, did anyone die of overwork at M13B? So far as I remember, no one died of forced or overwork. So far as I remember. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
To move on, I would like to allow the lawyer from group number 2 to pose question, please. Thank you, Your Honors. I have 2 questions to pose to the accused. Question number 1, in relation to what he said, he became the candidate member of the party, was under the advice of Guek, and later he was imprisoned in T3 prison, and he was introduced to how should he include it or have him becoming the member in the prison. What in relation to M13 and the area under the control of Lonos, how far from and another in the area of Chan Rang Say at Chibamon, so how far from one area to another? I would like to confirm to the lawyer as the following. I joined the revolutionary in October 1964. It was about, I forget the key person who introduced me to that in 1966. It was called the Core Angka, and in 1967, Von Wet called me to work. First, he presented, he said that the party allow you to become the candidate member, but I cannot allow you to do so here, but it was decided by the member. I'm sorry. We get to the boat across the river, and then I met with Brother Pok, and we have the branches, and then Brother Pok accredited me into the member following the decision from the party. I would like to reaffirm that I met Brother Won for the first time when I left for the jungle. I know on the 5th of January 1973 I was 68. I was imprisonment, but I keep the relation and connection with the party network. And when I came to the big prison, there was a party branch there under the supervision by Brother Tep Sien. Tep Sien, the then name when he was a prison, but after 17 April 1975, he changed his name to So Sien. And on the 20th of July 1969, that Brother So Sien, who gave me the accreditation to be the member in relation to my party's works. So another question in relation to the distance between one area to another. I do not know. I do not know the distance. I heard that Chan Rang Say was in Chibamon, but my office in Omlang, so I never look at the map. It's not less than 50 kilometers if we walk on foot on the shortcut, but I'm not sure about that. To move on, do lawyer from other civil party groups would like to have any question to pose to the accused? If so, please.
Mr. President, given the late time, I would prefer to question the accused tomorrow, because in order to have or to question my questions together, and I would like to start tomorrow morning.
The next program, the trial chamber would like to take some time, and we would allow the lawyer from the civil party to ask question, and we can extend for another 20 minutes so that you can ask the accused. Based on our plan from tomorrow, we have another program. We have a different procedure for us listen to the testimony of the witness. So we will not allow the questioning for tomorrow. So we give you 20 minutes for the civil party's lawyer. So we have only 20 minutes from now.